dispute. Environmentalists scolded Boris for illegally granting thousands of licenses for EU vessels. Britain is set to grant licenses for potentially more than 1,000 EU vessels to continue destructive trawling when it should be outlawed under UK law, a conservation body has warned. The new licenses are expected to come into effect in the new year, alongside similar licenses for UK vessels. Marine conservation organisation Oceana said, "This is in contravention of the Habitats Regulations and Marine Acts and could make them illegal under UK law." Melissa Moore, head of UK policy at Oceana, called on the government to use its powers to act. She told the government should issue a simple licence condition that bans the use of bottom-towed gear as is required by UK law. Currently, licenses for 1,675 vessels from EU nations to fish in the UK's Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ, are due to expire on New Year's Eve, and new licenses will have to be issued for the coming year. There are also 1,100 licensed UK vessels over 10 metres long. Oceana anticipates that more than 1,000 licenses for UK and EU vessels will be issued around December 31st, but we don't know the exact number that will be issued at that time. This way of fishing often destroys the habitats and the species that live. Ms. Moore said that vessels that use bottom-towed fishing gear can adversely affect marine habitats, either destroying the habitats such as biogenic reefs, mussel beds, honeycomb reefs, cold water corals, or removing infaunal and epifaunal species and hence reducing species diversity and ecosystem integrity. British fisherman Clive Mills said, "We need to start looking after what we've got left, because if we don't, there will be nothing left." The Sustainable Fisher from Bognor Fishermen's Association added, "If we keep using the gear that's decimating everything, we won't be able to do this. If we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? In 10 years' time? 20 years' time? Every day we leave it, or every year we leave it, we're getting closer to the abyss." Ms. Moore added, "We need an immediate ban on trawling and dredging in all offshore marine protected areas as well as the inshore zone. To continue to license this destructive activity, when we know the damage it causes and that it is illegal under various environmental laws, beggars belief." She added, "We need to protect our marine habitats and in return many will also help protect us from climate change by sequestering and storing carbon." Oceana analysis found that of the 68,000 hours of bottom-towed gear fishing that took place in certain UK MPAs in 2020, 35% of it was done by French vessels alone. Meanwhile, 26% was done by vessels from other EU nations. The rest was done by UK vessels. Ms. Moore said, "The government could issue a simple licence condition that bans the use of bottom-towed gear in marine protected areas, as required by law, pending further assessments on the impacts of such activity." The fight over the number of fishing licenses granted to French fishing boats operating in British waters is a symbolic issue on both sides of the English Channel. Paris, London and Brussels dropped talks of a trade war this weekend after appearing to have settled a dispute over post-Brexit fishing licenses. However, some French fishermen are still unhappy and threatening to go ahead with a pre-Christmas blockade of British goods entering Calais, France. The European Commission and the French government signalled satisfaction with the result of an intensive 2 weeks of negotiations, as the UK and Channel Islands governments agreed to issue 83 more operating licenses before an EU deadline. However, the offer did not fully meet the demands of France's government, and some fishers in Brittany said they would go ahead with a planned blockade of Calais on December 23rd. Far from satisfying the professionals of the sector, this news exasperates the fishermen of Hauts-de-France, who feel both betrayed by the British government, and neglected by the European Commission, the Committee for Maritime Fisheries in the region said in a statement. Movements will be expected, movements which will target the import of British products. French vessels imposed a similar blockade at Calais, described at the time as a warning shot.